Hi, um, I'm Mortis Geist, and today I'm going to show you how I made this kind of glitchy webcam effect thing. Um, it is audio reactive, so if I'll turn this up a little bit so you can hear that. So yeah, you get the idea. Um, so basically what this is a feedback loop here. And the way I kind of came across this effect was honestly by accident. Um, I was watching a tutorial by PJ Visuals. It's like a liquid, like audio reactive liquid effect. And maybe like a quarter of the way through that, I just decided to do my own thing. You'll kind of see that here. Maybe the first like 5 minutes of this video will be very similar to that one. But like I said, a quarter of the way through, I'll start doing my own thing. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a lot going on here, but it should be pretty easy to follow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete everything here. Start fresh. Um, so I do have the other project above me on my other screen just so I can follow it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I'm not a touch designer guru. I I don't really know what I'm doing for the most part. When I'm working on a project here, it's normally me messing around, just seeing what looks good. And I mean, that's a kind of good way of learning too. Like, so if it comes to something I don't know how to explain it, I honestly recommend like looking it up or following another tutorial explaining what the effects actually do. I can explain some things, but honestly, not all of it. Um, okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a feedback loop. So I'm going to go ahead and add a noise. And first thing, we need to change this to Parlin 3D and the period to 1.64, 2 to 0.71. Okay, that's the same. And then turn monochrome off. And in the common, you want to change this to, I'm using the free version of TouchDesigner, so it's capped at 720. But if you're paying for this, then obviously you can go up to 1920 by 1080. But unfortunately, I'm not doing that. Uh, let's see. And then you want to change this to 32-bit float. Okay. Um, Again, sorry if this is kind of slow. I haven't really done this before, and hopefully it's not too hard to follow. But then you need to add a feedback. Do nothing to this right now. You don't need to do anything. And then you want to connect this feedback into a level. In this level, you want to change the clamp input to unclamped, and then keep everything else here the same. That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. I don't know why I did this. Uh, I'm sure there's a reason. I changed this opacity to 0.999. Again, like there'll be things in here that I've done and I don't even know why I did it. But I guess somewhere down the line it creates the effect I showed you. So I'm just gonna follow it to a T. Okay, so from this level, you want to put this into a displace, and in this displace, you want to change the vertical source to green, turn the midpoints both to 0, and that should be, okay, wait, the extend, change that to mirror, and then that should be everything there. So I'm gonna put this over here for now. Go back to the level and then add a slope. The slope, you want to change the green to vertical luminance. And then the blue, you want to change that to 0. Alpha 1, that's the same. The 0 point, turn that to 0. And then the strength, turn that to 4. And that should be everything there. So from that slope, add a blur. And in here, change the pre-shrink to 2 and the filter size to 32. And then that should be everything there. Then you want to plug in another noise. This noise, you want to plug it into both inputs from the blur. And in here, you want to change this to Parlin 3D again. The seed is fine, period. You want to change that to 0.0001. That's the same. Change the harmonic gain to 0.01. Exponent, that's the same. The amplitude, you want to change that again to 0.0001. And the offset, take that down to 0. And then turn off monochrome. And then you want to plug this noise into the second input of the what's it called? Displace. And okay, that's everything here. Okay, wait 1 second. You need to go back to this noise. And in the transform over here, in the translate, third one to the right, you want to change this to, if you type in ABS time dot seconds. And now what that will do is that will just carry on like rising. It'll keep going up and up and up. And then anything else? Okay, that's all. That's all good. Okay. So from here, you want to plug this into an edge. And so why is it, again, sorry if this is slow. I just need to make sure everything's right. Okay, yep, sure. Okay, in this edge, you want to take this strength to 0.01 and then do comp over input. And that should be everything there. So this will be the end of the feedback loop. So if you just add a null, then what you want to do is where this feedback starts over here, you want to drag this into there. So now you get this kind of, this kind of oily, liquidy kind of effect. And what I'd also recommend doing, because it just makes it way easier, is if you add a chop and you add a, what's it called, keyboard in. And what you want to do is click this feedback here and then click this little, it's like a star, click this little plus sign or a star, and then drag this onto the pulse of the feedback and then set it as a chop reference. So what this does is each time, and you can change the key, but right now I have it to just the number one. So each time you press one, it will restart, which is very handy for just restarting the feedback loop. So you don't have to keep going back to the beginning and like go into the here and the parameters, press pause. So it just makes it way easier. Okay, so that is our feedback loop. So from here, you want to connect this into an edge. And this edge, you want to turn the strength up to 10 and then do comp over input, toggle that on. Okay. And then you want to put this into a normal. What I think the normal does is it just makes it look more 3D by giving it depth, I think. But I could be wrong. Again, still learning. Um, so from this normal, you want to then plug this into another noise. And for this one, you want to plug the normal into both inputs. And then in this noise, you want to keep one, harmonics, keep that, or put that down to one. Harmonic spread, put that down to one. Harmonic gain, 0.32. Keep that the same. The amplitude, put that to 0.16. And then the offset, take that to 1. And let's see. That's everything for that. So you want to go back to this edge layer just here. And you want to plug in another noise. And just like how we plug this into this noise, you want to put both of the inputs, like make them both active. So now you can see the one on the left, that's the one that's we've just made now. Turn that off. And then in this noise, you want to take the seed all the way up to 5699. The period to 0.04. That's the same. The harmonic spread, take that to, yeah, spread, put that at 0.9. Add the exponent 0.98. The amplitude 1.39. And then the offset to 0.588. Okay, so from here you want to put a you want to composite both of these together. So we just oops add a composite and then plug them both in. And just keep this at multiplier or multiply even. And then just for good measure, plug this into a null. Okay, so if I turn this off, so this is what we have right now. It's a bit of a mess. The it's a bit crazy. Again, if I press 1, it'll restart it. But yeah, there's not much order to this. It's pretty out there. But that's fine. That's kind of like what we want. So if I just turn this off for now, and then plug this into. Well, actually, you have to get this from the. If you go over here to the palette, go to Image Filters, and then scroll down till you find Feedback Edge, and just drag that on. So then you want to plug this null into the Feedback Edge, and to get that green color of like static glitchiness, you know, just change that to green. In the source gain, so all of these are very different. So I think almost all of them are different to the um, just the normal one that you throw in. That I just have. Um, so source gain 0.72, edge strength, take that up to 1. The scale 0.0, oh wait, sorry, 1.014. The blur source, keep that at 1. Blur feedback, put that down to 1. Feedback gain 1.046. Uh, the feedback black level, that's 0.1. The hue shift, that is 0.4. And then the saturation multiplier is 1.1. And then lastly, the dry wet mix, put that down to 0.682. All right. Now, what you want to do is go back to the palette and under image filters again, drag in a bloom, and then plug both of the inputs in from the feedback edge. Now in here, first of all, change the glow color to white. And then the blur size, take that down to 1. Iterations 6. Threshold 0.04. Intensity 3.21. Gamma, take that up to 2. Contrast 0.87. Bloom level 0. Glow level 0. Uh, ramp glow level also 0. And that's 1. Now change the blur type to Bartlett or Bartlett. Yeah, Bartlett. And then the pre-shrink up to 4. Keep this at 1 here. And then change this to 0.156. And then that should be everything for the balloon. So go ahead and plug this into another null. And then from here, again, going back to the palette in image filters, you want to look for solarize. Drag that in and then connect the null to that. In the solarize, we want to change the light threshold to 0.095. And then change this to 0.089. Then the dark threshold to 0.587. The dark softness to 0.994. And then that's it. So from here, you want to add a mirror. Flip both of these. And then change the rotation to 90. And that's everything here. And then lastly, for this effect, just put another null. Okay, now we're like a third of the way through. So that's that. You don't have to do anything else to this. And right now, all we need to do is focus on the webcam effect. So go into your chart, no wait, sorry, your tops. And then add a video device in, which is here. And then whatever webcam you're using, yours will obviously be different to mine. But I'm just gonna go ahead and click this one. And then I think you might not have to do this. For some reason I do. Change this to 1280 by 720p. I don't know why it just decides to go smaller, but it is what it is. Okay, from here, I don't know. And then you want to add a select, but don't plug it into anything. Just put it down here. And then drag this null onto the select. So now you can see it's, that's me by the way. It's just feeding into this. So it's just selecting the video. It's just, again, I don't know why I did this, but um, maybe someone can explain why I did this. I don't know. Um, so from that select, add a cache. Now what this will do, I think, is it will just kind of, it's not doing anything right now, but it will kind of delay the footage slightly, and you'll see why we'll need this in just a second. But in the cache, you want to change the cache size to 9, the step size to 5, and then yeah, that's it. Then you want to add another comp. So just a composite, and then plug in this null here, just like that, and then the cache into that too. So right now I mean, it just looks the same but darker. But if you change the operation to difference, you can see if I like, I'm not gonna make this massive, but you can see when I move, if I stay still, it'll just be dark. But if I move, you'll see me. So what we want to do with this is grab a threshold. So plug a threshold into this. Then in here, you want to change the threshold to 0.041. So now you can actually see me. It's all white. Uh, from here, this is an optional step, but honestly, I prefer the way it looks. But if you just, from this threshold, plug in a bloom, now you may need to tweak this. You can see, like, it actually looks quite good, but sometimes it's just like way too bright. So I may come back to this in a second once we have the whole effect working. Um, so from this bloom, you want to actually, from this threshold, add another one. So, sorry, add a blur. And in here, you want to change the method to just horizontal and take the filter size up to 32. And then that is that. So from here, you want to add a edge and change the edge color to like a bright green. Like that's fine. And take the strength up to 9.84. Almost. Shit. And that is everything for that. So, okay, this is where it gets a little messy for me to understand what I've done here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and add a comp over here. And then into this comp, you want to plug in the, just make this a bit bigger here. This null of this effect that we made, plug this in. Oh my goodness. Okay, there you go. Plug that into there, and then plug the green edge effect, this one. You can see, plug this into it too. So that is creating this kind of look. Again, not what we're after, but you'll see how it all just comes together. So from here, you can add another comp, put it down here, then plug in the bloom just here, plug that in, and then plug this other comp into it. So that is kind of that. Why is that not the same? Threshold edge, edge. Okay. I know when. So go back to the first comp you made just before this one. In here, you want to change the operation to freeze. And then in the one we just made, you want to change that to, I think, inverse. Yeah. So now, again, that's still not really, that's not what we want. 1 second. Okay, freeze, inverse. I missed something. Hmm. Yeah, that's not really what we want. Okay, it might be. Okay, there you go. So I had to swap the order in this final comp. So if you just do that, you might not have to. I think it's just the way I plugged them in, like which one I put in first. But now you can see that's kind of the same effect as what we had before. It's like slightly different because obviously the first one we had was Audio-Reactive. So I'll just run you through how to do that just now too. Okay, so up here I'm just gonna do a add a chop of a audio file in. Now if you're doing this live, and obviously this would be different, you you wouldn't add a like a song file most likely. You'd have like a device, like audio device, and be that a mic or plugged in from the decks of like a DJ set. So I'm just gonna add what song should I use? I'll use this. This is one of my friends mix in Manchester, Solar Solstice. Right now you can't hear it, nor can I, and that's because we need to do a audio device out. Now I'm gonna add this. It might be kind of loud, so apologies for that. I'll try and turn it down very quickly.
Real shit.
Okay, just keep that at that volume for now. Maybe even a little quieter so I can think. Two. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, from here, we want to add a audio analysis. So if you go to the palette again, then go down to tools, and near the top, there's audio analysis. So if you just drag that on, and then plug the audio file in to this. Now in here you can, at least what I've done is I've activated all of them. So the mids, the lows, the highs, and the kick, I think. And I just left the other ones. So from here, you want to add a select. Now you can see it, that kind of visualizes it. So you can see like which frequencies are going off at which point, and you can fine tune that pretty well here. If you just do it through this, through the analysis, you can see here you can change the gain, the threshold, whatnot. So from here, if you want to make things audio-reactive, what I've made audio-reactive is the displace effect. Just okay, let me move this down a bit. Put it here. Okay. So the displace just here. I think I changed the weight, so I made those at like reactive. Let me just check what I made. Okay, so I put the low and the high frequencies reacting to this. So what you want to do is, again, I'm just going to drag this a little closer, just like this. Okay, so click displays, go over here, click this star again, and then from the top, you can see how like the cursor is going down, it's highlighted green. So I'm just going to drag this low, which I think is the top one. I'm going to put this into the weight just here. and then chop reference. And then I'm gonna get the highs, which are down here, and plug this in over here. And then set that to chop reference again. Okay, what else did I do? Okay, I went to the noise, this one here, and I set the harmonic gain, so just here, I set the mids to that, so if I just go over here, I'm gonna plug that into this. It's gone kind of yellow. I don't know about that. Don't know why I did that. But anyway, and you can see where I said the plume is optional because it's just like it's. I like it, I do, but it's just a bit much at points. And like I said, in fact, I encourage you to do this if you followed along this far. It's just like tune it yourself. You know, you'll have completely different lighting, like in a whole different environment. I'm sat in the dark right now, which is like ideal for me in terms of, DJ sets and whatnot, because that'll be mostly a dark environment. But if your room is like bright, maybe this, for example, the threshold might not work as well. And like all these things you have to fine tune yourself. Um, so yeah, I don't really know what else to say or cover here. Um, other than I hope this has been useful. Again, I don't know why that's so yellow. I mean, it was like as soon as I put it in the gain, I don't know, like it should be something. Anyway, that's your homework, I guess. If you've made this, figure out why it's gone yellow for me, and just change that yourself. Um, but this, like I said, this is very. I made this by accident, so you may be able to make something like way better from this, and hopefully this has just been like some help or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, thank you. I hope that was okay to follow, and good luck if you are trying to recreate this. All right, in a bit.